Once again, to the last part of the party, I want to welcome you very warm to this house on behalf of the family, because this is a two-family house. I'm living in one side, and the owner and his wife and 3 kids, my son and daughter-in-law, are living in the other end. So, why here? Because 90 years ago, everything started here. And why in this rural area? Even if you look at Strup today, you might say, oh, we are out at the very far countryside. But imagine how it was to come to Strup 90 years ago. It was a rattle road and everything was very natural, I think. And but Bang Olufsen, one of the founders, was born here, actually just where you're sitting. Right there. Because his parents had their bedroom in this room, and having 7 children that departed the room in 4. And well, then Sven grew up as number 3 of those 7 children, and his elder brothers didn't want to be a farmer, and so Sven was the one who was expected to be a farmer. But he acted so awkward. So, well, it was a question, and then he started studying engineering. And after that, it was in the beginning of the wireless days, no, not wireless then, but linked up, but still they were making radios. And he started on his own here in this house, and that was too dull, so he wrote one of his friends. No, he couldn't, because he was so busy installing electricity in the area where he lived. But ask Peter Bang. He has just been in US, and has a rich father. So yeah, so they started here, and quite soon after, on November the 17th, 25, they went to Copenhagen, made all the rules, made all the papers, and their father especially put the shares, and started with making vision and missions, which can still hold. I don't think they talked in design yet, but still they wanted quality. And it was quite interesting. Why did they stay here? Because well, there had been a dairy in that wing, so there was an empty space, and there was a lot of farm hands and maids, and when the cooking maid finished peeling the potatoes, she might screw or something like that. So yes, and also the mother of Sven, Anna Olufsen, she made meal for the occupied in the fields, as well as those who were occupied in Bang Olufsen. And so you might imagine this house, which was a family home, but still in the wing over there, when you pass around, you can see Jane's kitchen was office of Peter Bang, his bedroom, and then also laboratory works. Yeah, and So until there were about 25 employees, they stayed here, and they've been all over the house. Also at the in the yard when they were cleaning sheets for making the generators. And then I think Anna Olufsen said, that's enough, enough is enough. And they decided to build the first factory in Struer. And they, Peter Bang's father tried to persuade them to get nearer to Copenhagen. And he said, no, the authorities here are so kind, and we're
flexible.
Yeah. You know, like this. No, I don't think so, but still. Well, we have a lot of potential, even this rural area. But the fact was perhaps because he had fallen in love with a girl from Struer. And in that way, the two families, Bang and Olufsen, were merged to one family, because Peter Bang was married to Sven Olufsen's sister-in-law. So, in that way, my husband had two uncles, Bang and Olufsen. They were very special persons, both of them. I think they characteristic in common, they were playing all their life. Tried event and do something new. They tried to electrofish in our ponds down there. I don't know if the fish reacted or what. And then they drilled for water. They tried everything new. And when my husband, who was the nephew of Sven Olufsen and lived here, one Christmas Eve had an electric train. Sven Olufsen was already in the house for the event, and Christmas Eve, Peter Bang came, leaving his family back in Struer, getting out here to see if the electric train was working all right. And my husband remembered how that Christmas Eve worked, because he had a new electric train, but his two uncles were working it, and only the next day he had permission to get to. So, and also they were different in many other ways. No, that was equal, but they were different in other ways, because Sven Olufsen was a philosopher, the one who was trading, and Peter Bang was an engineer. He was full of ideas, and when you could see Sven Olufsen always neatly dressed the whole day, then you, Peter Bang could get an idea in the middle of the night, getting over to a factory in his pyjama, and then next morning the employees meeting up might find the boss in his pyjamas still. And also when he met properly dressed, then he could be greasy and his shirts out of the trousers in few hours, because he was so occupied on what he was doing. So they merged very well together. They both died quite early. First Sven Olufsen, he was only 52, and then 10 years after or something like that, Peter Bang died. Sven had no children, so therefore his brothers, first the elders and then my father-in-law, took over the chairmanship of the firm, and very much later my husband were involved in the board and was chairman of the board for 12 years and were member of the board for 40 years. So that's why I'm so involved emotionally in the farm. I think you've got more or less the rest of the history about how things developed, but it's also quite nice to see how it worked in other ways, because there have always been women behind. And Sven Olufsen's mom, as I mentioned, was supporting them not only by supporting them in meals, but also sometimes when the waiters were not at the right place the right day, then she had a lot of egg-laying hens, and then she supported them economically during the time. But and also my father-in-law's wife were really supporting not only her husband but also Sven Olufsen. Sven Olufsen was single but not lonely, and more than once he called, "Oh, Karen, I've got a dreadful woman in my house. I'm going to Copenhagen. Will you throw her out of my house while I'm away?" And she did. And I think she told him to behave in another manner, but without so much success. I'm then the third in the row of Olufsen female, and my husband and I had a fantastic cooperation. He was very much involved in the farming, but also in Bang Olufsen and many other firms. And we have had a ping pong. I say we use it as box and ball, because to try ideas. I am an occupational therapist and have been working like that for all my active life, and have been a politician locally, and it has been a very good inspiration. So I was not at the same way as the elder female of Olufsen, the women behind. I was the woman beside, and that was quite important. And now the new generations are finding the old age with also taking the tradition from the old ones to open the house for friends of Bang Olufsen. And we do that because we think it's nice to live with the history, but the history only lives when we are telling it. So today, we are not active members of the firm, but still like to live with the history and are proud of it. The house you are in are built in 1636 and was altered in the middle of the 19th century. And also this wall can tells a lot of histories. I'm quite often asked, where is the attic where it all started? It has always been a living house. So when it was not in use as a factory anymore, then some kids went into the room and things like that. But we still have the feeling that this were an inspiring house.